Guten Nachmittag, danke sehr für alles. Also wie gesagt, ich habe ziemlich viel gereist, aber wie Sie hören können, auch mein Deutsch ist ein kleines bisschen holländisch. Also heute für diesen Termin würde ich auf Englisch wechseln. And so what I wanted to talk to you about today is procurement in the age of AI. Now, what we have seen already, just now, also with my predecessor who just talked here, that AI is everywhere, right? It is something that is very, very important. It is on top of mind of everyone. Like, for instance, our first slide, if we go in there, at GEP where I work, we state, okay, AI is everywhere. And we've just heard that as well. It is at the healthcare industry, it's at security industry, it's changing the way we do education. And it's not only us from GEP that states this, or other source-to-pay companies, it's everyone. For instance, here, Gen AI will shatter and reconstruct every company and industry, right? Lots of change coming up. But with that as well, what we see as well when we speak with customers, that they say, hey, of course, there is lots of change here, and there's many AI functionalities coming my way, but actually I'm a bit overwhelmed. I don't know anymore what to use, when to use it. Now, we at GEP, we set up an AI-based procurement orchestration. What does that mean? If you look here, you see all some roles that we see in procurement. For instance, a procurement executive, sourcing manager, business users, supplier admins. And instead of having multiple routes and multiple ways to work with AI, we just have one single entry point where you can do all your requests in the quantum orchestration engine. So what do you have? You have just your intake, and then the AI, it will detect your intent, and from there it will route it directly and intelligently towards the request that you need to do. For instance, if you want to procure a service, maybe the system will see, okay, hey, you would need to do a sourcing request. It will guide you through that process. Or if you want to set up an NDA contract, we'll see some examples out of that in a little bit. The AI will route you through the best way. Doing a purchase requisition, the AI will guide you towards a guided buying experience with AI recommendation. Or a supplier 360 report. Of course, you can go into our tool, you can build your dashboards, your reports, but you can also just ask in a conversational way, you can ask the AI engine, please create me a supplier report that you can work with. And so that is a lot lower threshold for you. And it's not only different roles, but it's also just on single work streams. For instance, if you're a sourcing manager, and you work with direct sourcing, then you might not need lots of supplier onboarding, but you would need to have your AI to support you with a list of suppliers. Or for instance, office supplies, maybe you can get some supplier recommendations. You request office supplies and the system will automatically detect that and then guide you through the proper process. Logistics. This will be more about bid optimization scenarios. And basically what I want to state is that with our AI tool, our goal here is to guide you along the way, be it here from the sourcing process, by using analytics to take informed sourcing decisions, by using advanced bid optimization, help you with the onboarding process, and have an AI-enabled guiding experience. The whole source-to-pay flow. Now, let's just go into the state of AI a little bit. And without, I thank my predecessor as well to go a little bit more into depth, so then I can take this a little bit from a high level. But basically, AI has been around for a long time already. So already since the 60s that people started working with it, but it really started kicking off in 2010 when big companies like Google started working with machine learning, deep learning, big data was something that we finally managed to harvest. And there we have lots of functionalities coming out of that time as well for the procurement area. For instance, spend classification. where you can use AI to categorize your spend. Supplier parenting, use AI to find all the connections between your suppliers and basically see where work towards your golden record. Or a guided buying recommender with AI-powered recommendations. Now, this was a great period, and this is not going anywhere. And I think everybody's very much using it already on a day-to-day business, also in the GEP suite. But what this traditional AI did was more, it was learning. It was taking data and basically presenting it to you. What we're now seeing is that there is actually a shift in which we're not only just taking the data, but we're also starting to generate the data, which is where that generative AI name comes from. And a very important term here to remember is LLM, large language model. Now, why is this important to me? Because this is, LLMs are all around working with large sets of unstructured data. In procurement, there's many processes that are full of unstructured data. Think, for instance, contracts. Now, with our GP suite, you have the possibility to load a contract into the system. It will analyze the information. It will give you a summary and a highlight of all the clauses. Or you can set up this conversational reporting, just as I said in the previous slide, in which you can create your own supplier 360 dashboards. And of course, it can help you, it assists you with your business as an assistant. I'm just checking the time. Now, where are we moving towards? We are moving towards, we got the generative AI, we are generating things, the AI is executing more and more activities. What we see as a company is that Gen AI will become more and more autonomous. And so we will move towards a time where you will have, for instance, an AI agent that will be running your sourcing process. And you have another AI agent that can work with your contract management. And these two agents can work together, where the person working in procurement will move more to an orchestrator role and starts to orchestrate all these different AI agents to fulfill their duties. So, what's the impact then on S2C and P2P? Well, if you look at this one here, and this is always when I look at this chart, it looks a little bit like a brain, and I thought it was a nice analogy, because speaking with somebody the other day, he said, okay, hey, if you add AI to the S2C part, basically that is about, it's like adding 10 IQ points to your team. They get smarter by having LLMs, by having Gen AI support you as a specialized assistant in your process, which will help you to reduce cost, will give you more insight and productivity. And we'll see some examples in just a little bit. And on the other hand, we have procure to pay. Procure to pay is where we see lots of automation possibilities. For instance, in requisition, where it's full of unstructured text. And this is something that we can analyze, optimize, and automate quickly, so that people can actually have a more efficient requisition experience. Now, how do we see those changes? So we see this as follows. So source to contract. Here we see basically a shift happening from managing spend to managing risk. It's all about managing risk. So people ask, okay, what can I automate with AI? That depends, right? It really very much depends on how much risk you're allowed to take, or you're willing to take. If you're doing something, for instance, an easy activity, such as creating an NDA for a certain supplier, then you could automate that. But on the other hand, if you want to keep on full control because it's very strategic, you want to set up, for instance, an MSA, then the AI will turn more into an assistant that will help you along the way to set up your MSA, will give you insights, will analyze contracts for you, but you remain in full control. And this is something that is, well, hey, that you as a person working in procurement also should ask, okay, where do I feel myself comfortable with? Where's the point? What can I automate? And where could I better rely with an assistant? The second part is procure to pay. Now, remember those AI agents that I mentioned? This is where we see lots of possibilities coming up where you can actually start automating the process. So the procurement person will be more moving towards an orchestrating role. We'll have AI agents that will process requests, collaborate with suppliers, and manage payments. Now, there's a high expectation, right? So what you see here, and I think maybe you feel that as well in your day-to-day work, that we're not getting less work to do. We're getting more and more tasks to do. But the problem is, it's very difficult to get new people from the market. It's a tough market. There's this high demand for qualified personnel, but there's not always enough people to get them. Also, from an operating budget perspective, things are getting tighter, and so that's where we need to see how we can do more with less. And so as a part here is that AI can play a role here to fulfill this gap. Now let's dive a little bit into some use cases. Big part of this, what I wanted to share with you, is actually what it looks like. So what you can do with AI on our platform. And so we're going to see a couple of use cases. The first one, we'll go and show you how you can do RFX authoring powered by AI. And then we move to contract authoring and review, and we'll give you a glimpse of something that's coming, and it's still in the works, but where we have a quote validation and what that will look like on the short term with the GEP platform. Now, I got a little bit of, let's play a game here. So the ask is, we're going to see a video, and I'll ask you afterwards, okay, which type of AI did you see? Which type of applications did you see? So let's have a look at the first one.
This video outlines one of the AI-powered capabilities of GEP Smart in the source-to-contract process. A sourcing analyst has logged on to GEP Smart and accessed their personalized workspace, where they can view and manage all their tasks, performance metrics, and action items. If they wish to run a sourcing event, they can simply type that request in the search bar, and GEP Minerva will guide them through the process. Minerva will validate the RFX details based on the analyst's requirements and user information, which forms part of their user profile. Additionally, Minerva can recommend appropriate sourcing strategies for achieving discounts, sourcing from local suppliers, and even automatically negotiating with suppliers, based on market indices for the materials specified in the RFX. Once ready, the event will be generated, with Minerva recommending appropriate timelines, guidelines, price sheets, questionnaires, and so on. Minerva will also add appropriate suppliers based on a combination of factors, including supplier risk score, performance against SLAs, participation in earlier events, and more. The sourcing analyst can now publish the RFX and manage it throughout the entire sourcing cycle. From a simple search, the user was guided through the authoring process with helpful recommendations designed to optimize the results of the sourcing event.
Okay, so there we have that RFX use case. Who can give me some examples of AI applications that we've seen? Kann auch auf Deutsch, ist kein Thema. Wer hat etwas gesehen? Eine Idee, was haben wir soeben gesehen? So, one of the things that we've seen is that we had that conversational approach. So you don't need to go into the tool and build your request RFX. Of course you can, but the whole way as well is to have the AI guide you through the process, right? And so we have just that easy landing page, that single point of entry where you can go to and say, okay, I would like to create a sourcing request. And then the system will analyze that and will help you throughout the way. Another one was, it started to recommend us things, right? It said, okay, hey, I see that you do that, but I see that you try to create an RFX. Hey, maybe this could be a good volume discount that you can use based on previous RFXs that you have done already. So the system will analyze the repository, see, okay, what has been done in the past, and comes up and assists you with more information. We've seen another one where the system comes and gives you information or suggestions on the timeline or the suppliers that you can use. And finally, another part is that the AI actually will build the contract, build the RFX for you. So that's something, it starts to generate the document for you, which makes it a very low threshold, also from an adoption perspective with your teams. Let's go to the next example, and let's see maybe if somebody can give me their thoughts about what we see from an AI perspective. So right now we're going to have a look at AI-powered contract authoring and review.
This video describes some of the AI-powered capabilities of GEP Smart in contract management. The contract manager has logged onto GEP Smart. From here, they can use the search bar to carry out a wide range of tasks. In this case, they want to upload counterparty paper from a supplier. They can use the AI chatbot, GEP Minerva, to do so. Minerva will identify the contract type and party and recommend existing contracts that match the criteria. The user will create a new contract, and Minerva will extract all the relevant fields from the contract language, such as terms, clauses, and obligations. After digitizing the document, the contract manager can send it to their internal team members for review and redlining. The legal user team member can access the contract as a task from their landing page and check it out for internal review without having to navigate to their clause library to compare clause language or comb through the body of the contract to ensure that it is compliant with company policy. GEP Minerva will guide the user through the redlining process. Minerva has identified the critical clauses and recommended alternative clause language that may be used. Also, Minerva advises the user to change the payment terms to those more favorable. Additionally, Minerva can recommend that the user add important clauses that are not in the current contract. The legal user can also ask Minerva to rephrase certain clauses in order to account for additional information that may arise. With GEP's robust generative AI capabilities, users are able to quickly and efficiently collaborate throughout the contract lifecycle, saving huge amounts of time and effort, whilst ensuring organizational compliance and accuracy.
Anyone? It's a bonus one even. Anyone go for the bonus one?
Check of completion.
I'm sorry?
Check of completion.
One more time.
A check of completeness.
Yeah, a check. So that was done. A check of completeness, very good indeed. Yeah. So the contract's being checked, seeing if there was any clauses that were missing, and then the system comes back. Indeed, thank you for that, and it will give you suggestions. Okay, hey, maybe you want to enter these clauses. Any other?
The AI is capable of handling unstructured data.
Yeah. Very good point. Thank you. So the suggestion here was the AI is capable of you working with unstructured data, which is of course a contract that we're working with. Right. I need to go back. One thing as well that it did, we uploaded a document and it actually started interpreting and understanding what it's about. What kind of contract, what type of supplier do we have? It also said, okay, hey, I already found a similar contract in your database. So do you want to continue working with contract, or shall we just use the one you already have? Basically saving you time as well and avoiding double work. It extracts key metadata that we got, expiry dates, again, the supplier, and as mentioned here, all the class gaps were recognized and also gave recommendations to fix it. Now let's go to the last use case that I wanted to share. And this is something, it is still on paper because this is something that we don't have in the tool yet. We expect this in the next couple of months coming out. And basically what we have here is just your regular quote. Now, if you have typical information from a quote that you need to validate, right? So you need to check out, for instance, supplier name, quote validity, or payment terms. Important parts, lots of manual work as well. If you have many quotes you need to go through, and also maybe quite sensitive to human errors. Now, one functionality that we're planning to have in the next couple of months is to have this automated and have AI help you to analyze the quotes. For instance, you will be able to ask the system, can you validate the fields from above against the quote attachment? For instance, hey, it will tell you, hey, the supplier here is QuoteWorks, and it sees that because it analyzes the logo, it understands that, it sees that there is an internet address that is called works.com and QuoteWorks, and so that is from there it takes the information and it helps you to validate your information. Or another part, what is the validity of this quote? The system will be able to analyze that the header quote is from the 24th of January in this example, but we'll also see in the bottom that there is actually a validity of 30 days. So it will automatically deduct that actually it is valid until the 24th of February. These are things where the AI will assist you, still in control, but it will assist you to work out and make sure that you just have a more seamless work experience. And the final part, payment terms. Very important. So what are the payment terms? System will recognize that there are no payment terms mentioned and will also state, okay, hey, but our company policy are 60 days. Do you want me to send a mail? And basically there will be, the system will be able to draft a mail that you can send straight from the platform to your supplier. Now let's check out some data challenges. Just here as well, opening it up to the floor. Can we even talk about AI? This is something, a discussion that we have a lot. People say, okay, hey, nice that you have an AI solution, but we don't have any data there. Where does the data need to be stored for you, for you to be able to have a proper AI service? So what are the thoughts? So you can also raise or lower your arm. Can we talk about AI when there's no or poor or no data available? What do people think?
Yes, when it's able to receive or input documents, like guidelines, for example.
Yeah, go on. So indeed, yeah, when you can receive documents, you can start working with that, can interpret that data. Now, we say yes, there is actually quite some possibilities to work with AI, even when there's no data even. For instance, and here we have just some use cases, just for food for thought. And we have, for instance, a data maturity scenario. There's no data available, but maybe as a sub-scenario, we do have the data, but it's not structured. Then we can do what we've just seen in the video, right? So you can do a contract Q&A. You can ask, okay, who are the users of the main parties of my contract? Please summarize this contract. Or we can have a metadata extractor that we've seen in the video where it starts identifying, okay, what is actually in this contract? And if it does not exist, then it can still help you by, for instance, helping you to work on supplier discovery that you can do based on web search, right? And so you start actually generating information as well. You do have the data, but it's poor quality. Hey, you can use it for cleansing. For instance, for spend classification, a great use case where you actually, where AI can help you save time to do this for you. And if you have the data, but it's not complete, we can also enrich your data. For instance, with a catalog specification enrichment, for instance, with a laptop that does not have all the specifications in it, you can ask the AI, please enrich this automatically so they just have the full view for my end users that would like to make that purchasing decision. And the last one is good data. So if you have good data and it's in good quality, then hey, you can start really managing it. And this is where we're getting again into having negotiation assistants that can help you along the way of your source to pay process. And that's it. That's basically the quick overview that I wanted to share with you here in these short 30 minutes. So we've seen here the way where AI has been coming from and where we're building towards, where we're starting off with machine learning based solutions, going into Gen AI and moving towards an AI agent future. And we've seen some use cases focused on working with RFXs, optimizing your contract procedure, and also how you can use AI for quote validation. And that's it. If there's any further questions, what I will be doing, I will be running some cinema sessions at our stand at GEP, where we'll basically go into the tool, because these were just videos. We'll go into the tool and I'll show you exactly what it's like to use our AI solution in the GEP suite. Thank you very much.
Guido, please don't run away.
Oh.
Please don't run away.
Oh.
So you asked some really detailed questions via Slido, and I want to please you to clarify them at the GP booth. You will just run over there.
Yeah, I will be
Yes.
there, yeah.
So please just clarify the questions there. And so this is a big applause. Thank you for a deep insight.
Thank you very much.